Coach Boutique versus the outlet. What is the difference? Let's have a look in store. Hello everyone, welcome back to another mommy review. I review all things for the love of. Today I am checking out the Coach Boutique versus the outlet and having a look in store to see what is the difference. Now I know Coach has been a favorite among a lot of handbag lovers for years now. There are a lot of similar styles and designs between the Coach outlet and the boutique, but what are the key differences that you should know before making a purchase? Now, before I get started, if you like the content on this channel, I'll appreciate it very much if you would consider giving this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for considering, and on with the video. So looking at Coach handbags, I mean, some of them don't have a light price tag, but when you compare the regular Coach store compared to outlet, there is a very significant difference in terms of price. So I've been always curious because there are some similar styles, so I want to do a deep dive and head in store to see what are the differences between these two, like seems like the same brand, but like I find the products are just so different. Starting off with the Coach Boutique. So this is an in-store look at some of the Coach Boutique bags. You can see that instantly I find that the leather are a little bit thicker. They are a little bit more sturdy. I feel like they are built to last a bit longer based on what I'm seeing so far. You can also notice the difference in the finishing in the hardware. It's very nicely done. Later on, I'll show you how it looks like in the outlet version. For me, I love going to Coach to shop for leather handbags because I love their glove tan leather the best. I definitely recommend their tabby, which I know they have like a whole selection now, like pillow, hobo, original, but I think they are really great for everyday use. For me, Coach really brings a nostalgia for me because I have memories of going to Coach stores and outlets in early 2000s and just finding some really amazing bags. In the last 5 years or so, I feel like Coach has really made a comeback, and some of the boutique store handbags in particular, I've been absolutely falling back in love with Coach because of it. So if you're buying something to last, just having this preliminary look at the boutique right now, you can see that the leather is just so much more beautiful. They're very supple. It's really a great choice if you're not so much on a budget and you're looking for something to really last and stay with your wardrobe for a while. They really do have amazing quality leather. I mean, after all, that's kind of going back to the roots of Coach itself, right? So just looking at it peripherally, we know that the Coach boutique handbags are a little bit pricier. I find that their styles are quite timeless. Quality-wise, separating into material and craftsmanship, we know it's a little bit superior. It's almost like they're still under the Coach brand, but they're like almost like two entirely different company in terms of the production of the product. They're very different audience that's intended. So let's have a deeper look. To start off, if you're shopping from Coach, be aware that if you're online, there is a Coach website and a Coach outlet website. They're two separate websites. They have a very similar look and layout, but they're very different. I find that the boutique website, it's just a much more luxurious, classic view with wide angles, whereas for the Coach outlet website, I find that like the icons and everything is a little bit more squished together. Here you can see some of the handbags. Like I mentioned, the leather is a bit thicker. I like how a lot of the boutique handbags are not super logo heavy. If you spot a handbag that you like at the boutique and you're waiting for a discount, make sure to keep an eye on it for internal sales, and also like at stores like Nordstrom and other retailers. They probably won't end up on the Coach outlet, even though some people think that, oh, maybe some of like the older seasonal bags will go to the outlet. It's more rare, but I'll talk a little bit more about it later. Here you can see the styling. I find that the handbags are a little bit more structured, maybe related to the type of leather that they use is a higher grade leather, so it does weigh a little bit more compared to, let's say, a Coach outlet handbag. But some of them do have a similar look. I do notice there's a completely different product line that they have between the two I want to say two different brands, even though they're underneath Coach. You won't find the exact same product that you find in the boutique versus the outlet. They have two complete different production lines. And you'll also find that the Coach outlet will have a larger selection compared to, let's say, the Coach boutique. The color selection is also a little bit different. I find that there's a lot of beautiful neutral colors available at the Coach boutique. I mean, both outlet and boutique, you'll find like the brown, the beige, and like the neutral tones. But I find that the boutique has like a larger color range for each of the products. Whereas like for the outlet, they definitely have more handbag designs, but not necessarily like the same range of colors. They're more trendy colors, I would say, aiming for a younger audience because it is a more of a lower budget handbag range. In terms of materials, I do find, as you can see, some of these Coach boutique handbags will have beautiful leather trims. They have high quality leather that you would expect from Coach, a little bit higher grade, like buttery soft Napa leather, like stronger full grain leather, and polished pebble leather. Whereas I find for the outlet, it's a little bit more processed, if you know what I mean. I mean, there is a clear difference in the durability of Coach outlet versus boutique. I feel like from the boutique is definitely more sturdy, robust, whereas the outlet, it feels a little bit less durable. And you can see that from some of the reviews that are left on the Coach outlet website. In terms of logoing, you notice that most of the Coach handbags that you see here in the retail store features like various Coach logos, but generally with the iconic C that you see here, that is a great example. Whereas for the Coach outlet, you will see one general main logo. Pricing wise, of course, Coach retail is going to be a little bit higher. For sales, both of the boutique as well as the outlet have sales. Like you will see them on Black Friday, Cyber Monday every year. But I've noticed that the Coach trend for sales are at least like seasonal for the retail store, whereas the outlet is like always on sale. There will also be a section with clearance on it. Whereas here you can see at the retail store, they do have discount from time to time, like 10-50% off or so, but you won't find deals that go beyond that at the retail store. Whereas at the outlet, you're gonna find discount up to like 70% off, and that's because it's kind of built into the product itself. Like they're building handbags to fit that price range, expecting to have these sales. Another price factor to note is that for Coach boutique or the retail store, you do have to buy at least $200 to get free shipping, whereas the max range before you get free shipping at the outlet is around $50 or so. But overall, you can see like I think some of the designs here at the retail store is just very timeless that I can see using for many years to come. Whereas the outlet, I'm not saying they don't have those options. I think that you will find more trendy bags at the outlet. Okay, so that is a quick look at the Coach retail store. So let's jump over to the outlet and see what the differences are for their handbags. So here we are at the Coach outlet store. When we head in, you're gonna find that there are a lot of similar looking items but at lower costs. But of course, in order to have these lower costs, they must have some cost cutting measures, and I'll try to highlight them as we look at some of the bags. My understanding is for Coach, the majority outlet bags are made for the outlet. Sometimes you will find overstock items that are from the boutique, but majority of the handbags are made with the intention to have these heavily discounted sales for the outlet market. So you're going to see materials that are slightly thinner and possibly lower quality. Here are a couple designs as you can see here. I've heard from a lot of sales associates that definitely there's more exchanges associated with the Coach outlet store, that people use their warranty exchange as opposed to the retail store. And I think that really speaks to the quality that you will be expecting if you're buying from the outlet versus the retail store. The outlet does have a reserve section on their Coach outlet website that are usually handbags from past season from Coach retail store, but the rest is all made for the outlet. Definitely the outlet handbags, you can see here the leather is a little bit thinner, not the same attention to care as you can see for some of the lining, for the threads and the detailing. I would say that the regular store do outlet transfers where they have slightly damaged items or out of season bags that will be sold here if you are still interested in retail store Coach handbags. But if you like a bag and you want to wait to see if it gets transferred to the outlet, I wouldn't hold my breath for it because it's pretty random in terms of which handbags will get sent to the outlet. One of the ways that people say that you can distinguish between an outlet and also a retail bag is by the logo. I don't know if that carries through necessarily for most handbags. Some people mention about the carriage that you would typically see, the horse and carriage on top of the name, to be found in the outlet. But definitely I think the C logo is more prominent in the retail store. You can see the materials for the Coach outlet. Usually there are some leather, but they're thinner, but there are a lot more canvas products. And the leathers that they have are usually described as smooth, which is not necessarily a great indication of quality. And then everywhere when you step into the outlet will be signs saying it's on sale, because the Coach outlet store's goal is to sell large volume of handbags at inexpensive prices. Even if the prices are low, they are likely to make a not bad profit, I would say, off of the volume that they sell. And this is one of the reasons why the Coach outlet handbags are so cheap. So here you can see the straps are also a little bit thinner, as you can see in the outlet handbags, as opposed to thicker strap or a strap with padding that you would see at the boutique store. If you're interested in checking out some of my shopping trips to the outlet store, feel free to check out my YouTube channel so you can have a more thorough review and see the differences for yourself. I find that they do have a much larger collection of canvases, but like there are minor things you'll notice, like this Molly bucket bag here does not have feet on the bottom, whereas its equivalent version at the boutique, the retail store, will have feet on the bottom. So there's little details like that. So here is the boutique version. You can see like it does look sturdier, it props up, it's very structured, whereas I find that the handbags at the outlet are not as weighty and like they are a little bit more slouchy looking, and I don't know how that will look over time. So what is the final conclusion of Coach outlet versus the retail store? I think the main differences between the two, outlet and the retail, is specifically like the lines of product. Like one is definitely tailored towards a lower price point, whereas the other one is designed with a higher price point in mind. So with that said, I would approach it as if they were two distinctly different brands, even though they have like the same name, like Coach. While both lines I think have really great handbags, I mean the quality has been declining a little bit, I would say, for Coach over the years. Some people do say that vintage Coach handbags are more indestructible compared to the ones that are out in the store today. I still think that Coach is a great option if you're looking for like a great everyday handbag to use. The Coach main line from the retail store do have some trendy bags, but I think they're great for extended use. Whereas if you are only looking for a handbag to use occasionally, maybe just for a few years, I think that outlet handbags is a great choice to go with. The Coach outlet still have some really classic designs, and I think that their aesthetics are not bad either. I think there are handbags that you don't necessarily need to be super long lasting, because it might not be something you wear every day. It could be for like rare occasions or like to go and try out a certain trend. So I think the outlet does have its place. But if you happen to find a handbag that you like the design, the color, the shape of it, I would say totally go for it. Don't worry about if it's retail versus outlet. At the end of the day, if you use it and you love it, then it's totally worth it. You're gonna get a good price per use out of it. For me, I try to remind myself not to overthink over this, so hopefully this video is helpful for you for next time when you're thinking between Coach outlet versus the Coach retail store. Hopefully it'll be helpful for you in deciding. Well, I'd love to hear from you between Coach outlet versus the retail store. Which one would you go for? What has your experience been with both of these boutiques? I would love to hear from you. And with that said, thank you so much for joining me on another mommy review, and hopefully I will see you next time. Take care and stay safe, everyone. Bye for now.